As of 2018, 32,000 people died from this. And as of 2018, in 1 year, medical costs from this was over $5 billion. What is this? Falling. It's a silent killer, and I'm here to tell you why you should care. It's coming up. Fall prevention and injury prevention is a widely searched term by the older adult population, but every realm of our population, every demographic has reason to be concerned. Why? Because the problem is getting worse. According to the CDC, as of 2018, they projected that there's a 30% increase in falls. It just keeps going up. And there are more and more older people surviving and living into longevity every single day. Roughly 10,000 individuals turn 65 every day. So that number increasing leads to an increased risk of falling. So before you click off, especially if you're someone around my age or if you're in your early 20s, please keep watching because this information applies to you. Especially if you're a young athlete, you need to keep watching this video. One injury could make the difference between you and your possible pro career. And if you're a parent, you should watch this because more than 3.5 million kids, 14 or younger, get injured playing sports or just recreational play. And all of this could have been completely preventable with a proper training program. So what is that program, you might ask? Balance training. What is balance training? It's an exercise that does not incorporate a tightrope. It's no flips, no crazy stunts. You don't have to be a gymnast to do balance training. And it's something that you can integrate into your normal workout routine. And if you don't currently work out or you're not a regular exerciser, it's something to consider doing. Why? Because there's two things we don't exercise. We don't actively try to exercise our balance, usually, and we don't actively try to exercise our posture. Fitness has been inundated with a wrongful portrayal of aesthetics only. This is not the case. Fitness is for movement. Fitness is for your tissues' health. Stay with that mental frame of mind. Balance training is something that can be done such as single leg squats, tandem stance exercises, multiplanar hops with stabilization. These are just to name a few. They can be done in your own home with a stable, sturdy object to get started with every exercise, and the training needs to be progressive. It only really takes about 10 to 15 minutes of exercise for younger athletes 3 times a week. For older adults, some research have shown that on average, 30-minute sessions 3 times a week can be really helpful. Moreover, for older adults, specifically balance training programs that incorporate functional daily movement, such as assisted toe taps, which are basically trying to step on a step that will improve your ability to ascend and descend stairs. These type of exercises that are improving your leg strength and your core strength and your core stabilizers will help prevent and help reduce the risk of falling. And we typically leave these out in a lot of workout routines, and we don't think about it throughout our daily life. Why? Because most of the time we're not sitting or standing or walking with proper posture. It's not something we really think about. We spend most of our days just staring at the computer and working at a desk job, and we don't exercise the right muscles. So briefly, let me cover the 3 main systems that are incorporated in a good balance training program. Balancing in our body requires vision, proprioception, and the vestibular system. These are 3 systems that work together to help us balance. Vision is eye's ability to sense light rays that go into our eyeballs and connect and disperse information via the light rays to our brain through the nerve pathways. The eyes lead to the brain, of course, and it communicates to our brain and says, hey, I see this. I see the floor. The floor is flat. The floor is bumpy. The ground has a bunch of rocks all over it. These are things that are important because it helps us communicate in the decision-making centers of our brain. I should not put my foot sideways on that rock because I might twist my ankle. Things like that. Next up is proprioception. While it sounds like a really boring name, it's really interesting. It's your body's ability to sense its position in space. So your body's brain. Except, don't be confused, your body and muscles do not have brains. They just have nerves that connect to your brain. Anyways, when you have your ability to sense your space, actually just try this. Close your eyes. Close your eyes right now. Try it out. Now, stick your arm out to the side whichever arm, it doesn't matter, and just move it around. Keep your eyes closed, no peeking. You know exactly how far away your arm is from your body, and you know the path that your arm has taken. And in fact, you can see it with your eyes closed without even having to look. That's proprioception, your body's ability to sense its own position in space and its own movement. Pretty cool, but pretty not cool when people have a problem with that system, because then they're very accident prone. It's actually quite tragic. But it's not all doom and gloom. Every one of these systems can be exercised through balance training. Moving on to the next one, the vestibular system. So what is this system? Well, this is the lovely system in the inner ear that is responsible for making us motion sick. What is motion sickness exactly? Well, let me explain the vestibular system and you'll find out. The vestibular is a tongue twister, just like how it looks. The vestibular system on the inner ear is twisted, and it is not the cochlea, but it is attached to the cochlea. And you'll see some semicircular tubes or canals that are filled with some fantastic fluid. Now, this fluid bumps up against special cells inside of the inner ear that have a bunch of hairs on them. Well, it's basically just special type of hairs. They're not actually hair. You're not hairy on the inside of your head. You have hair on your cells that is tickled by the fluid, and that senses your head's position in space. So do this, tilt your head to the side, and you might feel your head move. And if you tilt your head to the other side, you can feel something moving. And if you do that back and forth, you might notice that your eyes feel like they're sensing some type of movement. And if you're at risk for vertigo, don't do those exercises too fast, because it all ties in together with that vestibular system, the fluid moving in the inner ear. So tell me about motion sickness. Well, motion sickness is basically the vision being in disagreement with the vestibular system. They butt heads. What do I mean by that? Okay, so let's say you're on a boat, because almost everybody gets seasick on a boat. I know I did, and I can't really think of any other things other than being carsick and being on a plane. Let's go with the boat example because it's easiest. So you're on the boat and you're looking at the deck, and the deck is flat. Your eyes are telling your brain, hey, the deck is flat and it's not moving. But your poor vestibular system is moving around because there's waves, and you're moving up and down and you're swaying. And your vestibular system is telling your brain, no, we're not, we're moving. And your vision and your vestibular system butt heads, causing you to throw up. So inner conflict leads to vomiting. It's not fun. So fix that inner conflict. And what can you do to fix that inner conflict? Well, balance training can help. So each one of these systems, the vision, the proprioception, and the vestibular system, all work together as a happy family to help you balance and not get motion sick, which I don't really think there's any evolutionary advantage to getting motion sick. As of now, they haven't really found any specific reason, but if you know the evolutionary advantage to vomiting when you're on a boat, in a car, on a plane, comment below, because you must be a genius, and I'd love to know. So how can you make those systems better? Is it just a bunch of hocus pocus and the word balance training and walking on a tightrope? No, it's progressive training. In essence, you want to start at a level appropriate to you, and you want to complete specific functional balancing tasks that are appropriate, again, for your level. So you don't just go off and try a bunch of random balancing exercises if you're not ready for them. You always want to consult with a doctor, of course, but then you want to know your level. You want to know your starting point, so that way the next day you don't end up with a backache and never do it again. You start off with 2 weeks at a specific level, and then when that level becomes easy for you, you move on to the next level. You don't just stay in that level and say, I am a champion at this for 365 days, because you're not going to make any adaptations. Your body needs what's called progressive overload, but don't be mistaking the term overload for overloading yourself with a bunch of weights. It just means that you're upping your intensity or volume very slightly, depending on what your goals are. So you're in a stepwise process going through this type of program. And balancing exercises, simply nodding up and down, is one that specifically targets the vestibular system. Some balancing exercises target each system independently, but some exercises target the systems all together. For example, let's just say, and don't do this, don't do this right now because I don't know your physical abilities. I'm telling you not to do this, just imagine it. If you're standing on one leg and then you close your eyes and then you move your head back and forth through space, you are challenging your vestibular system and you're challenging your proprioception and you're taking away your vision component. So then let's say that you're keeping your eyes open, but you're blurring your vision slightly and you're moving your head back and forth. That's another type of challenge for your balancing as you're, let's say, standing on one leg. So there's many different ways that you can layer the effects of balance training, simply just starting with being able to stand on one leg and not doing all those other crazy things that I mentioned about nodding your head or closing your eyes. So there's many different ways you can target each of those three components for your body. So that's a brief overview of what balance training is. I hope this kind of dispels the myth of what it might be, or at least makes you more interested, because it is something that you really should care about, considering we don't care enough about our posture. In fact, you're going to see many other videos on my channel about posture and how important it is, because I believe it is a growing crisis. People not paying attention to their posture. They're so concerned about bench pressing and what their chest looks like and what their abs look like that they're not focusing on the back end of their body, specifically their back, that is keeping them upright, and their hips as well. Their abductors are getting completely forgotten about, and their local core stabilizers are getting completely forgotten about. And without any type of balance training, just doing a bunch of weightlifting, you're not giving yourself any reason to advance, so that way you minimize risk of injury or reduce risk of falling. It is a crisis that is growing, so you have every ability to pay attention to it and do something about it. So check it out on my website if you're interested. You'll get that free interactive balance placement assessment directly to your email. Otherwise, I do have a program that goes through stabilization level, beginner, intermediate, and advanced, multiple levels in each category, in each series, so that way you know exactly your starting place and you can go progressively from there. And again, anyone from older adults all the way to even youth athletes, as long as they have parental supervision. Check it out if you're interested, and as always, I have more stuff for you, fitness, health tips, and also more information about posture. Hope this helps, and I'll see you in the next one.